So before we start the job, we wanted to go over a few of the basic tools you'll need. One is a flat blade screwdriver to remove the plastic push pins. Second, you'll need a T25 Torx and a 7/16 socket to remove the floorboards, and a 3/8 socket with an extension to remove the CVT cover. We also found helpful using a power drill because there's 8 or 9 bolts you're going to need to remove, and it helps save some time, add some convenience. So last week we took out the bikes, and during our ride we noticed a thump, thump, thump coming from behind the drive belt cover. So that can really only mean a couple things, but most likely it's a fraying drive belt. So we've purchased a new belt, and today we're going to take apart the quad, remove the damaged belt, and replace it with a new one. To remove the foot cover, first we have to remove a few push pins, which come off with a blade screwdriver, and we have 4 Torx bolts, which are T25 with a 7/16 nut on the back. Now that we have the side cover and the footrest removed, now we need to remove 2 additional push pins to access the case vent. It's just a simple hose clamp, and then we have 9 3/8 inch bolts holding on the cover. So now that we have the cover off, we're going to inspect the belt for damage. So you do that by rotating the primary clutch assembly or the secondary, and just kind of look for any signs of serious wear, and I think I've already found it. So we're going to rotate that around so that we can see it. And as you can see here, we're missing a pretty hefty chunk of the belt. So that's very likely the noise that we heard. So now what we want to do is remove that belt. It's actually a very simple procedure. All we're going to do is rotate the secondary and kind of pull around the top, get it to just edge out around it, and then we're going to rotate it until it just slides right off. And just like that, there we go. You can get a close-up of that. You can see that that belt has seen better days. So now that we have the belts out, we got both belts together so we can show you the differences between the belts. This belt right here, this is the Polaris factory belt that came out, and you can see the damage. This is the replacement belt, and at first inspection you might think, well, these belts look significantly different. Well, we replaced it with a high output heavy duty belt. So this belt should give us maybe a little bit more low end torque, hopefully, and a little bit longer life. And you can see it's significantly stronger than the other one. So we're going to go ahead and put this in. One thing you're going to want to do once you get the belt off is you're going to want to inspect the surfaces of the primary and the secondary drive pulleys. What you're looking for is you want them to be smooth and free of defects. If there's any deep scratches or nicks in it, anything sharp or something that would be abrasive to rubber, unfortunately you're going to want to replace the assembly. That being said, we're going to go ahead and put the belt back in. So what you want to do is basically just get the belt, keeping, like we said earlier, with the direction. We want to put it around the primary belt, kind of hook it around the secondary belt, and then it might take a little bit of force, especially that this belt is a little thicker than the factory belt. You're going to want to push it down in there as good as you can, and then try to rotate it around the secondary. Now, it might get bound up here and there, so you just kind of have to work it. So now that we have the belt reinstalled and we've inspected everything, which everything looks good, The only other thing we're going to do before reassembly is we're going to clean off this gasket in here and make sure it's all clean and free of debris so we get a good seal when we put the cover back on. But before we do that, we're going to start her up and just make sure everything belt is engaging okay. And we're going to go ahead and do that now. So as you can see, everything ran great. Belt hooks up fine. We just need to button it all up. And to do that, we're just going to go basically in reverse order. We're going to put on the CVT cover first, reattach the vent. Then we're going to put on the plastic, side cover, and footrest, and we're done. After that's all buttoned up, you want to take it for a quick test drive, just make sure it all works correctly, and you're basically done. So once again, we'd like to thank you for watching our video. Hopefully it was very instructional and helpful. It's a pretty easy job, and we'll see you next time.